Hey guys, how are you? Look, you've got to invest in yourselves. There is a higher state and a lower state in us, and we've got to be really aware of that. The higher state is our GPS, it's our navigation system, it's where our values are, it's our awareness. And our lower state is our physicality, it's our subconscious state. And the higher state is basically the direction setter, it's the GPS, it's where our ideals are. And the lower state is our subconscious state, it's our physicality, it's linked to our physicality, and it's the doer state. It does all the action, it's very powerful, and it basically will do anything that the higher state tells it to do, and it will go out into the world, into the universe, and take action. But what I say is you've got to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself means that the higher state has to invest in the lower state, because the lower state is based on self-esteem. And when you invest in yourself, you're basically loving yourself. So when I say the lower state is based on self-esteem, I mean it's very sensitive, and it's very dependent on the higher state, and it's always constantly looking for whether the higher state is loving it or not. And if the higher state is loving it, investing in it, taking care of it, then it's a reciprocal relationship. It gives back, it goes and does the work, it takes the action. And when it does take the action and it does the work, then what happens is the reciprocation is that the higher state benefits from more knowledge, more wisdom, more action, more investment into the universe, more doing work, action into the universe. So when I say the higher state must invest in the lower state, and that it is sensitive and it needs that encouragement, support and love, what is that investment? So the investment is that the higher state has ideals, it has a vision, it has feelings of what it wants to be, who it is. It's got a blueprint, an identity, a unique identity. We all have a unique identity. And what we have to do is we have to summon the willpower, make the decision to commit to taking action. And so the willpower is making the decision, and the battle goes on in the mind about taking action. And so what happens is when you take action, you invest in yourself. And so I'm talking about making sure you have a great sleep, that you go to bed on time, that you wake up regularly in a routine, that you do exercise, you invest in yourself with exercise, you invest in yourself with great food, you invest in yourself with hanging around with the right people, with great company that's going to help you and take you forward. And then you invest in yourself by giving love to family members and your community. And all these investments that you're doing that the higher state is telling the lower state is to do in terms of action, then the lower state recognizes that, yeah, you know what, the higher state, it loves me, it's investing in me, it's making me do things that are good for me and not bad for me. And so when it does bad things for itself, it is doing it for itself. It's not the higher state is telling it to do the bad things, but it's not telling it to do the good things. It's not pushing it into action. So that's where we kind of go off the rails and start eating lots of food and addictions and negative habits, is when the higher state is not directing, not investing in the lower state, and the lower state gets on with feeling sorry for itself and doing stuff that will not be in its best interest in the long term. So when it recognizes, the lower state recognizes that these investments are taking place, then it raises its self-esteem. It feels good about itself, and that feeling of goodness, the raising of self-worth, the doing of action from that self-worth, creates an aura, a self-confidence in the lower state, in the subconscious, and that basically allows it to access the present. Instead of being in firefighting mode and reaction mode, it's basically feeling good enough to respond in a not defensive way, but in a positive way into the world, with people, with actions, with events. And so it's a kind of an upward spiral of positivity. And when you get that positivity, you start getting light, and you start getting wisdom, and you get good vibrations. And so what happens is you take those into the universe. You become like a light, and you basically illumine, and you allow others to receive your light, and allow them to shine their light onto others as well. So that's the journey. That's what we're saying. And I'm saying, look, you've got to invest in yourself. You've got to give yourself love. You've got to raise your self-worth. You've got to increase your self-esteem. And that all comes from taking care of yourself. Sleep, exercise, food, relationships, action. All these things you have to do. And I would also add, obviously, spirituality, which is really what it's all about, the self. So all these things. Our journey is greatness. Greatness is what we're all about. So I'm sorry the camera went off by some amazing reason, but I've got it back on, and I'm saying that our journey is the journey of greatness. And so greatness is our alignment between the higher state and the lower state, that consistency, that congruence, that investment in each other, and then raising ourselves spiritually. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye now.